Welcome to day 2 of Simon Rollo's Joburg to Blouberg 1,000-mile bike ride challenge, and what a day it was, all 395 kilometers and near 21 hours of it. Right, well, Simon just got in a short while ago to the Marina Inn at Colesberg, and that was nearly a 21-hour day. Started at 1 o'clock this morning from Winburg and got to Bloemfontein round about breakfast time. Had some gear shifter problems that set him back by the sound of it, maybe an hour and a half or so while he tried to figure it out. It was these electronic gear shifters, and I guess that raises the question, does one have these high-tech things on these long unsupported rides, or doesn't one? But he seemed to sort it out, and it seems to be going fine now, thank goodness, because although he was in Bloemfontein, which is a big city, it's Sunday, and in Bloemfontein, cycle shops are generally closed on Sunday. It's not Johannesburg or Pretoria, so that could have been an issue if there wasn't a cycle shop available to help fix. But he got it right and carried on. Seemed like there was a bit of a headwind from time to time, but the impression one got was that the wind was not as tough as yesterday. And there were bits of tar, as I alluded to in yesterday's video. For instance, through Bloemfontein, a significant stretch between Edinburgh and Trompsburg, through Gariep. So it did make it go the route a little bit faster than yesterday, which was more significantly, or bigger portion of it was gravel. So it worked out well. It was a great day. 395 kilometers from Winburg to the Marina Inn at Bloemfontein. That's a hell of a day, and that sets him up very nicely to stay on track for the sub 5-day attempt to Blouberg.
Good evening, everyone. Day 2 of the 1,000-mile has been completed. Today's riding started from Winburg and ended up here at Marina Inn in Colesberg, taking on plus minus 400 kilometers. And yeah, sure, quite a hectic day. All went well up to about Gariep, and then the last 70-80 k's was really rough and rugged. So happy to be in, looking forward to getting a bit of sleep, and then heading out again tomorrow morning and take on the next day. So yeah, keep watching the dots, keep sending positive messages, and yeah, keep following.
Interestingly, in the Free State, it's an issue to be traveling through there on Sundays. Things close somewhat earlier than on Monday to Saturday. For instance, the supermarket in Gariep, which is a nice source of food and pies and takeaway foods, and the steakhouse Chila Tate, they typically close in the afternoon or are not even open on Sundays, whereas in the weekdays they'd be open till somewhere in the evening. So it becomes tougher. The food, the cuisine, if you could call it that, in the Free State is very limited on a Sunday. So I think this was a bit of a tough day. And at one stage he did say that he had a lot of cool drink, but there wasn't much food around. So that was an extra constraint to deal with. Yeah, that's the Free State on a Sundays. As it is, these towns are very limited and they close early in the evening on a normal weekday. On Sunday, it makes it that much more challenging. So what does he do tomorrow? Well, I guess the first thing is he probably can't leave at 1 o'clock in the morning again. He's just getting to bed right now, and it's almost 11 o'clock. So it'll be a later start, and that means that there's less daylight hours, or there's less hours available for riding tomorrow, given curfew at 11 o'clock again. So he probably is entertaining a shorter day, possibly Victoria West. That's a likely one. If one looks at Loxton, that would take you over the 1,012. That would take you to 1,012 kilometers, over the 1,000-kilometer mark, and but that's a 332-kilometer day. And if you're starting later at 4 or 5 in the morning, that's quite a challenging task. So it's probably more likely going to be Victoria West, 243-kilometer day. That's a bit on the short side. It would be ideal if there was a town in between or something in between, but there isn't really. So that would take him to 923 kilometers. Still keeps him on track for the sub 5 days. He's still averaging above 300 Ks a day if he gets to the 923 K mark. So it looks likely that it's going to be Victoria West. The weather, the wind going up into the 20-something kilometers an hour according to the forecast at Victoria West and Hanover. And changing direction a little bit as the day goes on. Starts off north-northwest, then changes to northwest by about midday, lunchtime, and then in the afternoon goes more west, west, northwest, so coming from a more westerly direction. Now that becomes a bit more troublesome at given the way the route's going now. From Bloemfontein to Gerib, the route was more sharply in a southerly direction, not so much west, but it sort of swings more in a westerly direction. Still going southwest, but more towards the west than was the case up until Gerib. So any wind coming from the west or northwest becomes a little bit more potentially a headwind. So that could make it tough tomorrow. But yeah, so would expect to see Simon take a little bit of a shorter day, and then the following day push for likely Sutherland, and then a big push on the final day, something like that. Let's see how it pans out tomorrow.